Yeah, can you just give me access to screen share?
You should have it.
Okay, perfect. Hi, guys. So I will share my screen in a minute, but first, any announcements, Danielle? Since we didn't
Well,
talk.
I did want to shout out because Allie is heading to Vegas this week. Obviously, why her hair looks super cute right now. I can tell she's ready, and well, to me, it looks super cute. Maybe she doesn't think that, but I can't wait to see her go to our new leader conference. She is the first person on our team to do that besides myself, which is a huge accomplishment. And she's worked very hard to do it, and it's been on her vision board for a long time. So it's just proof that, sometimes goals don't happen exactly when you want them to. We all know that with our fitness journey and our health journey in general. But when you stay consistent and you continue to show up, you can make them happen. So I'm excited for her to find out some behind the scenes things going on as a new leader in our community and sharing probably in 2 or 3 weeks some things that she learns there and some tidbits and behind the scenes kind of thing. So very proud of you. Um, Other than that, announcements, we finished up our free group last week and we'll be kicking off the March one soon. Crazy. And next week's call will be a partner preview call. So if any of you have any friends that are curious about the business or what we're doing, that will be open. Rachel or Allie, am I missing anything or any shout outs? And Megan too. Anyone. All right, you can see where my brain cells are at. So Allie, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Oh, hold on. I clicked the wrong button. Hold on. So I'm leaving for Vegas Friday morning at 6 a.m. and coming home Sunday morning. So it's gonna be quite the trip and I'm gonna be exhausted, but it's all good. All right. Let me share my screen with you guys and we will get started. All right, can you see it? Hopefully. All right, so I'll try and make this not too nerdy, shall we say. But for those of you who don't know, I am Allie. I've been a partner for 5-ish years, but more importantly, I am a PA in my full-time job. And so I work in a surgical specialty currently. But I also do a lot of research and love nutrition. So that's where this call is coming from. So we're going to kind of talk about why what you eat matters in your results. So for Dig Deeper, I've not always followed this style of eating and really gotten down to the nitty-gritty of what each nutrient you put in your body is doing. But before we started Dig Deeper, I decided to do it this way. And so I think that a lot of this is what's fueled my results in my muscle gain that I've experienced. And so I'm excited for you guys to kind of get the behind the scenes on what I've been doing. So, all right, let me just minimize you guys. Okay, perfect. So why does what we eat matter? So the best way I can explain it to you guys is your body is a machine. Just like a car, you have to give it exactly what it needs, tune-ups, the right gas, the right oil, everything like that to make it function like it's supposed to. So I like to think back to like the caveman days, right? So they ate grains, proteins, fruits, and vegetables if they had them. And so it was very minimalistic, no processed foods, no artificial sugars, nothing like that that are not good for our body and cause inflammation in our body, which in turn make us feel sluggish. They don't give us any energy. We don't have good GI health and not have good bathroom habits. All of the things are all tied together to what we're eating day to day. So I want you guys to think back, and it depends on timeline's going to be very different depending on how old you are. But I want you to think back to the early 2000s-ish era, the 90s and 2000s, and think of how you looked at what to eat. And so I was in college starting in 2008, from 8 to 12. And so I just remember vividly, like if I went out the night before and drank too much or ate too much pizza, I would think I had to do more cardio in the gym to burn off all of that stuff that I ate. And so the 100-calorie packs were a big trend. Lots of cardio, heavy on the cardio, just in general. And women didn't lift weights. Like that wasn't something that women did, unless like I went to the occasional body pump class, but it wasn't as popular as it is now. And so why is that? Well, I like to think of it as society's damaged us and damaged the way we look at everything. And we were heavily influenced on like I don't know, I want to say like the jazzercise era, but like just the high cardio step classes, everything like that era, and the calorie deficits. And so again, it was a big on like, well, you only need to eat 1,200 calories a day. That's all you need to lose weight. I'm like, don't do that. But we'll get to that in a second. So, what does eating like this and working out like this do for our bodies? So, if you're eating under what the metabolic demand of your body, so like it's called the basal metabolic rate. So the amount of calories that your body needs to function properly without any exercise. So like for your liver to work, for your intestines to work, for your heart to pump like it's supposed to, all of those things, and your brain to function like it's supposed to, the important things. For those things and for your body to work, you have a certain basal metabolic rate. And so if you're eating underneath, say your basal metabolic rate is 1,200 calories. If you're only eating 1,000 calories a day, you are not eating enough for your body to properly function. So what's going to happen? Are you going to lose weight? Yes, you're going to lose weight in the immediate. And that's why calorie deficits are not always a bad thing, but it's just when you stay in calorie deficits for a prolonged period of time that it damages your body. So you're going to lose muscle mass. You're going to have nutritional deficiencies. You might have hair loss, dry skin, all of the things that go with nutritional deficiencies. No energy, chronic weakness, joint pain, all of those things will come into play because your body's been suffering for so long that it's going to start taking from those reserves that it has. All right, so I already said this, but you need to fuel your body exactly like you fuel your car, however often you fill up your car, once a week. You need to do that every single day. So pretend like you have to fill up your car every single day. It is very, very, very hard to make this mindset shift to eat so much food and to enjoy food again. So I always thought back in the college days, food wasn't enjoyable for me because I was so fixated on that nutritional label of, well, I can't eat more than 1,000 calories today. And so it's been very, very hard to get past that. But what's going to happen is to build muscle and to be leaner and stronger, we need to eat those proteins, carbs, and fats. More muscle means you're going to have a higher metabolic rate at baseline. And so then you're going to burn more calories doing nothing because you have more muscle mass on your body. Are there any questions so far before I get into the nitty gritty of, let me look in the chat. No, okay. So it's time to get a little nerdy. So what do proteins do? So amino acids are the building blocks of protein. There's 20 amino acids in our body. 9 of them you have to eat in the food that you eat every single day. 11 can be made in the liver, but those 9 you have to eat. And so amino acids are little molecules. They form together to make peptides and then make bigger proteins. And so protein, this is a big one in the weightlifting community, in the muscle building community, everything else. How much protein do you actually need? So to function, not to build muscle, to function, you need 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. And so if you weigh 150 pounds, you need 50 grams of protein just for your body to function, not to gain muscle. To gain muscle, you need 1.3 to 1.7 grams per kilogram. So you need about 115 grams of protein a day. I aim for about 130 is where I like to stay, but I fluctuate between 115 and 145. And I'll show you guys in a little bit what I eat every day to help you understand, because you're probably like, that is a lot of protein. I don't think I can do that much, but I promise you can when you break it down.
Hey, Allie, quick question.
Yeah, I just saw your question. How many red containers? So I don't use the containers. I follow more like a to be mindset with extra protein. And so it's not as helpful. I'm gonna go with, so it's a what? So a red is a cup, right? So I would say, so a cup of chicken is gonna be like 30 grams of protein, I think, ish. So if you're mixing, if you're doing Recover and Shakeology and 4 or 5 reds, then you're probably fine. But I'm heavier on the protein than that normally. All right, so carbs. Carbs are a tricky one because again, back in the 2000s era, we are told carbs are bad. Don't eat carbs, they'll make you fat. I don't know if anyone else remembers that, but that's what I remember. And so what do carbs do? Carbs are what give your body energy. So when you eat a carb, you stimulate insulin production, which is an anabolic hormone. In turn, carbs also help to make more protein through those amino acids and peptides, and also make glycogen. And so when you're making glycogen, it's stored in those muscles, and you're not breaking down muscles as much. Also, this was a fun fact that when I was reading back through all my pathophys books from PA school to do this lecture, I forgot about this, but glycogen, so if you don't eat carbs and you're lifting weights, you're like, if you flex, you might feel like your muscles look flat and kind of deflated. That's because the glycogen from carbs is what pulls water into your muscle cells to make them big and fluffy. And so that's what makes your muscles big, is that water minus the muscle mass, but makes them look bigger is the glycogen from the carbs pulling in the water. Another fact that I learned and I forgot about is that, keto diets are a big trend and they're not a bad thing, but they eliminate most carbs. And so over time, if you do it for a long time, and they are beneficial depending on what medical condition you have, keto is helpful. However, low carb diets for a prolonged period of time can actually lower our cortisol levels, which is a stress hormone. Low cortisol levels can lead to adrenal issues, stress hormone issues, and a lot of endocrine issues. And I don't want to go into too much detail because it's kind of confusing, but essentially carbs are good for you is the bottom line there. Any questions about carbs or protein? No, no. And you guys can feel free to unmute and talk. Like I don't need to. No? Okay. So fats. What do fats do? Fats are hard because fats are, again, thought to be bad. Now there's 2 types of fat. There's saturated and unsaturated, healthy and not healthy. You want to eat healthy fat. So think of like salmon, avocado, olive oil, things like that are good for you versus the fried fatty foods that you often think of with fats. So fats also give our body more energy and support those cells. They help bodies absorb nutrients like fat-soluble vitamins. Fats help your body absorb. They also protect your organs internally, help control your blood sugar levels. A big one is they decrease inflammation in the body. And that's why the Mediterranean diet is so popular, is because it's heavy in those healthy fats. And that decreases the inflammation in the body. Another thing that relates to lifting weights, increasing your fat intake can also decrease your muscle fatigue during lifting. And that goes back to the whole glycogen stores and everything else and how you're using your energy as you lift, how your body depletes certain nutrients. All right, so sorry, this was supposed to be after protein, but it's okay. So I'm gonna jump around for a second. Proteins, yeah, okay, this is the last one before I talk about what I eat. Proteins help to repair and rebuild those muscles. So when you lift weights, what happens is you're actually making micro tears inside of your muscles. And so what happens is as those muscles tear, they have to be rebuilt back and your body has to heal them. As they're healing, that's how you gain that muscle mass. And so proteins help to repair and rebuild those muscles and make more amino acids for your body. I just said this, but after exercise, you increase muscle growth immediately due to the increase in that protein production. The best time, so after you work out, you're in what's called an anabolic period. And so protein intake within an hour after working out is almost essential for you to see any kind of results. So if you do a workout and lift heavy weights and you do not eat any protein, you're probably not going to see any results. And again, I know protein's very trendy right now, so I know a lot of you probably already know this, but you have got to eat protein immediately after lifting, ideally in the first 30 minutes, but the first hour after working out is key. You also want to include protein before you work out to increase that body's energy for the workout. And so your muscles are happy and can push through the workout to complete it. All right. So this is tricky. Now, how can you incorporate all of these things to see the results? And so for me, the biggest trick is I take how much protein I want to eat. So my 115 to 145 grams of protein a day, and break it down into my certain meals. Again, I talk about this and break it down in a second, but before your workout, you want to eat carbs are important because you need that energy in those glycogen stores, but you also want protein. And so ideally, it's hard when you wake up at 4:30 in the morning, but ideally you want to eat that an hour before you work out. During the workout, your body's going to use those glycogen stores as energy. And so you have to replete those after your workout. And so what I do is I drink my Recover immediately after my workout and I eat a fruit of some sort. And that fruit is that immediate fuel for your cells to rebuild that glycogen. Then an hour or two after that, I eat protein, a carb, and a veggie. And then every 2 to 3 hours, keep putting protein in my body and vegetables, plus or minus carbs here and there, depending on how I'm feeling. All right, so this is what I'm doing this week to show you guys how I'm eating. So I wake up at 4:30. I typically eat my egg bites, which are egg whites, cottage cheese, regular cheese, and either sausage or bacon. And for 2 of them, there's 20 grams of protein. So I eat that as soon as I wake up. Not ideal. Like I don't love to eat as soon as I wake up, but I know that it's beneficial in the long run. I prep all this stuff on Sunday or Saturday before the week. So I'm not in the kitchen making eggs at 4:30 in the morning. I just pop it in the microwave and go. At 5, I drink my Energize and then eat a carb of some sort. So either a half a banana, a rice cake, etc. I will tell you, when you first start this, you're gonna be kind of full and not really feel like eating that much food. But I promise you your results, it'll pay off in the long run. Then I work out. Immediately after my workout, I eat a fruit and I Recover. Like I drink, a lot of people I know, and I don't do this, make their Recover before they work out and put it in the fridge. And so then they just drink it. They just drink it like immediately, like they don't have to sit and make it. And so I usually chug it before I go shower and then take my strawberries upstairs and need a shower or my fruit or whatever. Then before I go to work, I make my Shakeology with spinach and PB2. Drink that in the car on the way to work, and then eat my overnight oats when I get to work for that other carb. Not ideal, but it works. And then about 11-ish, 11:30, depending on my patient load, I'll eat my lunch. And so this week I made pizza pasta bowls that have 50 grams of protein in them each. But usually I do like a chicken and a veggie and no carbs. Like I'll do cauliflower rice or something like that. But this week it's the Bonza pasta with ground chicken, cottage cheese, regular cheese, and marinara, and then pepperonis. And I'll be sharing that later this week, so you guys will see it. 2-ish, again, depending on my patient load, I have a vegetable and hummus or something like that. Just to tide me over so I'm not mindlessly snacking in between patients. And then on the way home, I'll have another fruit and then edamame, usually, like some type of protein something. Edamame is an easy one to eat in the car. I buy it already shelled, so I don't have to worry about it. And I just eat it, like just pick up each piece. And then we have dinner about 6-ish. And so I put a carb here too, because I eat what the kids and my husband eat. I don't change what I eat for dinner. And so that's, I think my normal is about 120 grams. If I'm struggling with getting in enough protein, I have those Fairlife, not the core power, but the other ones are like 30 grams of protein for a chocolate milkshake basically. And so I'll drink those if I'm having issue getting in protein somewhere in the week or in the day. All right, that was very, very quick and very summarized, I would say. But what questions do you guys have? Recover is considered a protein. Oh, Rachel, explain your question.
I meant like after your workout, like should you eat more than just your serving of Recover, or should you have like that plus yogurt or something else that's a protein?
Good question. So I look at Recover is that immediate protein that you need, but then I eat an hour or so. The Recover you need immediately, but then an hour or two later you need more protein. And so that doesn't replace your need for extra. But some people mix their Recover and their Shakeology together. I don't. I like doing them separate. But that's just me.
This reminded me of the Time Nutrition a lot.
And so it kind of is like Time Nutrition. And that's, I mean, that's the way you have to eat to build muscle. And I would say I did Time Nutrition and 80-day obsession, and my results were insane. It was a pain because Grayson was a newborn and I went back to work, and it was hard, but it pays off is all I'm gonna say. Like it is not easy thinking about what you're eating every single minute of every single day. But I will tell you, and I felt like I don't know what doing this lecture, working on it today, because this past week I did not work out at all because of my shoulder. It's better now. But anyways, my nutrition's been terrible because I haven't, like, I was so focused on what I eat before and after and during and everything else that when I'm not working out, it was all over the place. So for me, it's that structure that makes the biggest difference.
Allie, wouldn't you also argue that setting a little bit of an intention and a plan ahead of time, which I know we've all done in the past, takes the guesswork or the mindless eating out of, like, you don't have to think about what am I making for dinner tonight because it's already made. It takes the energy off your mind every single day. I'm sure you guys all hate that when your husband asks what's for dinner. It's like, how about you tell me what's for dinner?
Yeah, and I don't meal prep dinner. I have in the past. When Grayson was little, I did because it was just the two, like just Matt and I were eating. But now, like, I have a plan of what we're eating each day, but I don't typically prep it. But yeah, that's why my last week was terrible because I set the intention, but then again, I wasn't following the plan of working out. And so my nutrition suffered. And what I've noticed, which I think is really interesting, and I'll show like a face-to-face in our message pod, but before I was eating almost no artificial sugar. I was very high on protein, very high on water content. And the inflammation in my face is like night and day. Like you can tell. Yeah, so my face is thinner now, but like this past week I was like I was all swollen up and miserable because I wasn't eating what my body needed and wanted. And so your body will adjust to whatever you're giving it. And so if you keep eating processed foods and artificial sweeteners or added sugars, refined sugars, your body is going to get used to that and it's going to like it. And so because it's a dopamine hit and your brain likes that and your brain gets excited. And so you're going to have to, it sucks at first. And this past week I was like a ravenous pig because I like had Girl Scout cookie and then one Girl Scout cookie led to other sugar. And I feel bad. Like I'm not sleeping good. My energy's not good. And so my body's telling me, right? Like your body is very smart. Your body's gonna tell you what you need if you listen to it, which is the biggest one. You have to listen to it.
And to back up what she said, you really have to give yourself those first 3 to 4 weeks to let your body adjust and feel a little out of sorts, no matter if you're new or not. We all know resetting that, like Allie said, you're gonna feel bloated. You might not see results the same way everyone does. We all do it. We get pissed when that one girl is like dropping weight or dropping inches or whatever your goal is, and it's not happening for you. And then you sit there and get frustrated and just go back to old habits. When if you were to just stick with it for a month and see it through, everybody's body is different, right? So maybe can you speak to that a little bit, Allie? And
Yeah.
also, if there's someone that wants to reset their nutrition, where do you suggest they start, and how can they lean into some of the tools maybe we already have access to?
Yeah, for sure. So I was just gonna say, like, Amy, I'm just gonna use you as an example. Like, your body might not like 130 grams of protein a day. Like, your body just might not like it. And so you really have to figure out what works for you and add up and like build up slowly. I didn't go from 50 grams of protein to 130 grams of protein. Like I've slowly, I was eating like a 90 grams of protein and then I've slowly built up to 130. And so you just have to, again, you have to listen to your body. Your body is going to tell you with your energy level, your bloating, your fatigue, your GI health. Are you nauseous? Do you have diarrhea? Are you going to the bathroom regularly? All of those things are signs that your body's trying to tell you something's good or bad. Um, if someone is like wanting to reset, what can they do? I would, number one, pick your nutrition program. So you can either do Portion Fix or To Be Mindset. I personally find To Be Mindset easier because it's not as strict. And so I can adjust with my protein intake and everything else with To Be Mindset. But I kind of like combine the two together in a weird way. Um, but we have our meal plans are in the bod group under files. And so that's a great resource just to start. You don't know, like, if you have no idea what to make that's healthy, look there. Like, even if you don't follow it by the book, say, like, well, I like this breakfast recipe or I like this lunch recipe. The biggest thing in general, though, is you have to prepare and you have to plan your week on Saturday or Sunday. Because if you just go willy nilly, it's not going to work. Because I've done it, we've all done it, and we're like, well, it'll be fine. Like I can figure out how to eat this much protein a day. It doesn't work. You have to plan ahead. And honestly, like going to Vegas, I'm not nervous, but like it's not in my control what I'm eating and what I'm doing and everything else that I'm like, what am I gonna do? Um, and yes, Rachel, I haven't been to the grocery store in a long time. Like actually shopping in the grocery store. I do pick up, I add things during the week that I feel like I would like for dinner. I bookmark the recipe or keep the tab open on my phone. I have like 100 tabs open on my phone. It's really embarrassing. But I keep the tab open. And so then I'm like, well, we have these 5 things for dinner this week. Which one do we want? And it's the guesswork is gone. Because again, if you don't prepare, you're going to fail. And then you're going to be mad. You're not getting the results you want and not building that muscle. And then you're just going to be upset. And we don't want that.
That's such a great tip though, right? Because how many of you go to Target or the grocery store and you have to deal with your kids there too, or whatever? Take that time and shift it to prep and plan and make a grocery list that you just go pick up. So then it's not like you're adding something else to your list. Because sometimes meal prepping can be like, oh my gosh, this is so much work and so much time. I think that that's such a great point, Allie, of like I personally love to go to Trader Joe's, but I'm also by myself and it takes me 10 minutes and I'm done. For you guys, it's totally different. So I think really looking and evaluating what makes the most sense for me and my family and my time to get the most out of what you're doing. So I would challenge all of you, and I'll let Allie give her last thoughts too. just pick one thing to start this week that you haven't done before. Because if you go in and try to do a drastic, extreme, we all know that never lasts. That's why diets don't work and lifestyle and habits do. So that is my one challenge when you guys get off tonight. Pick one thing. Maybe it's having one more red container if you're feeling portion fixed this week than you normally do. Or maybe it's making dinner, sticking to your plan this week, and that's what it is. I'll let you finish
I was
with
also gonna say, like, for lunch, I'm usually a very like, I make the same thing every week because I know that it works and it's consistent for me. But I also like trying new things because my Instagram's all, anyways. I do things because I want to make reels and then I eat them all, right? But like steak bites are a really good one that I've done lately. So you like take a 1 pound sirloin, chop it up, cook it in garlic and butter, and then serve it over like shredded Brussels sprouts or something like that. Super simple. It takes 10 minutes to make and it's done. We do it for dinner a lot too. But anyways, I would say you don't have to make these cool recipes you see on Instagram. You can literally make a grilled chicken breast. It's marinated in something. Serve it with cauliflower rice and a carb or regular rice and a vegetable. You don't have to do something that's pretty and Instagram worthy. You just have to fuel your body with what your body needs. That's it. And so even if you're somebody who goes and you're like, well, I don't like to meal prep. I want to eat out lunch every day. Well, then look ahead of time at where you know you're going to go and make a plan of what you're going to order. Don't just go sit down and say, well, gosh, that looks really good. Or like look at your person next to you who has something that you shouldn't eat, but it looks good. So you're going to order it. But plan ahead with whatever you're doing. You can go out to eat. You don't have to eat at your office. You can go out to eat, but you have to plan ahead in what you're going to do if you want those results.
mic drop. Well, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I think this is definitely a series we can do monthly because Allie has such great knowledge and a lot of these things maybe you've heard before in a different way, and it's a good reminder because we get frustrated why we're putting in all this work and not seeing results when it's really like, well, when's the last time you just sat down and made a meal plan for yourself? So I appreciate your knowledge and very excited to see what you learn over the next week. And if you guys have any thoughts or specific things you want to dive more into, we can definitely do this once a month because I think it's really helpful and everyone needs it. Cool. Well, thanks for hopping on, guys. I hope you have a great start to your week. We'll see you on Zoom in the morning and look forward to next week's call. Bye, guys.